Cricbuzz chatter at the end of day 3 of this test match in Chennai, India versus England. England still ahead, and with me, someone who watches England cricket a lot, who's had many names assigned to him. I'm going to use one today because that's the aspect of his mind that I'm going to pick, and that's astute. So, Michael, a little bit of pressure on you. I'm calling you astute at the start, so I'm going to pick your brain on that issue. Let's quickly put things in perspective today. England started 555 for 8. They batted on another 10.1 overs, which means they took 13 overs out of the game for another 23 runs, and then had India in all kinds of trouble at about 73 for 4, thereabouts in the 27th over. India have come back a little bit from there to finish 257 for 6. But that last line, 321 runs ahead, 180 overs left in the game. These are the two numbers I want to start talking to Michael first about. When you're an England team coming to India, you lost 4-0 last time you came here. You're 321 runs ahead, 180 overs left in the game. You're feeling mighty pleased, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, England so far over the 3 days, I give them 10 out of 10. I mean, there was a drop catch, Jofra Archer in the final session. That's the only blip really that I can say on an England side that's played great with the bat, very clever with the ball, a bit of fortune with a couple of dismissals. But, it's now the 180 overs, as you say, how they get out of those 180 overs with a win. I'll be very interested to see how Joe Root captains from here. And so far today, I thought he was excellent, very astute in his decision-making, bowling changes, field settings. But now it's decision time on days 4 and 5. I go back to 2016, and the one thing that England have to be very careful of is what happened in the first Test match in 2016, where they batted big in the first innings, batted on a little bit too long, didn't declare soon enough, had India 6 wickets down on the last day, drawn Test match, lost the series 4-0. England have to win the next 2 days, have to go 1-0 up in the series. Harsha, you know Indian cricket more than anybody. India won't bat as badly as they have done today. That top 5 won't bat as badly again. I can't see that happening. So England have to capitalise on the position that they've got themselves in. The pitch is doing a little bit more, but it's going to be, England as favourites from here to win the game. But I still think it's going to take some to get those last 10 Indian wickets on day 5, because I just wonder whether, I'll ask you, Rishabh Pant is a firecracker. I love it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through the rest of the day with Michael as
Rishabh Pant injected live back into the Indian cricket team today.
Yeah, Michael, let's go through the day as it panned out as we go along. England batted on much like you said England would, and as I said, took 13 overs out of the game, added another 23. I don't know in terms of cost benefit if that was the best way to go about it, but then I thought Jofra Archer bowled a fantastic first spell. There's something about pace in India, isn't there? I mean, you can be a medium pacer who swings the ball, but there's something about pace on these slow subcontinent pitches. And I thought Archer's first spell, Gill got a few runs off him, but that first spell was just fantastic. And the wicket of Rohit Sharma, who plays off spin as well as anybody else, was a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, Jofra did exactly what the England side want from him in Test match cricket, to bowl those short, sharp, quick spells, gets that steep bounce. He's got great variations as well. He bowled a ball to Virat Kohli that kind of got him in front of the face, and it just ballooned past short leg. Wonderful bowling. If you're going to trouble a player like Virat Kohli, you know that you're getting it down there with a decent amount of rates on it. England, as I said, have been very, very good. Jack Leach got at. Rishabh Pant put into the sword. He lives and dies by the sword, Rishabh Pant. That's why I enjoy watching him bat. England have got a nice attack. They've got a nice attack of developing. Dominic Bess is a work in progress. He gets 4 for. He bowled better today than what he did in Sri Lanka. But as I said before, I don't think this Indian batting lineup will bat as badly again. I just didn't think they were quite at the races until Rishabh went out there and almost said to the team, "Come on, we've got to fight. We've got to get into the England side's faces." And I think it was almost a lesson that, Virat Kohli just looked like he was trying to find a bit of form, trying to find a bit of occupying the crease. Played a weak, really defensive shot for Virat.
I want to ask you
I don't think the Indian team will bat as bad as that again.
I want to ask you about Virat Kohli, but let's stay with Rishabh Pant, because everybody seems to have fallen in love with Rishabh Pant. And my only concern is the moment he gets into 90, we should just tell the people manning the scoreboards, just push it back and pretend that the score is actually 70, so he doesn't know what he's on. But I don't think it matters to him. I mean, look at those scores. He got 200s, and then there's a 97. That was brilliant innings at Sydney. Didn't get 100, was better than the 200s up there. Then there was, and what's not there is an 89 not out right at the end in Brisbane. I had a question for you, actually. I think he's batting well enough to be a pure batsman. He's keeping very, very much work in progress. And I mean, it's too early to talk about Gilchrist, but I asked Tom Moody, I said, would you have picked Gilchrist as a pure batsman if he wasn't a good enough keeper? He said, maybe not at that point. Would you pick Rishabh Pant as a pure batsman if it came to that? Or would you say, nah, he's got so much going for him. We'll keep working on his keeping. We'll keep working on his keeping and keep playing him as a keeper.
Yeah, I mean, I would go for that option. He does need to improve with the gloves, but you can get better as a keeper. Josh Butler's improved massively as a keeper. Matt Pryor back in the day for England improved hugely as a keeper. I think the England team balance is better with Rishabh as the keeper batsman. But obviously, if he keeps keeping as he is and he had a poor time behind the stumps, they'll have to look at that. And they might have to look at it and go with 4 bowlers rather than the 5. And they won't want to do that with the amount of cricket that they play. You want those 5 bowling options. But he's just got to improve with the gloves, because with the bat in hand, I would want that style of batter in my team. You know, I just think he has that freedom and that fearlessness that opposing teams absolutely dread. You know, you dread playing against these kind of, as much as you know that they might give you a sniff, you also know that if Rishabh bats a session and a half, anything's possible, anything's possible. Even from this situation, there'll be a little bit in the back of the mind of a little bit. Sorry, there's Phil Tuffnell trying to ring me here. Goodbye, Phil. I'll speak to him later on.
Get Phil on the program and ask him about Jack Leach. I mean, here's Jack Leach. What does an English spinner dream of? I'm going to bowl on a crumbling Indian track one day in my life, and he comes on. He's 6 overs for 60, and he's thinking, "Hang on, this is not what it was meant to be."
Yeah, but it was brilliant. I think it's been a great day for Test cricket. You know, across the world, when you think about the West Indies and the chase that they've just produced in Bangladesh, to see a young batter like Rishabh Pant dancing down, trying to whack the ball out of what looked like a bunker of dust and launching it over wide long on 5 times, and he's just kind of managing to get it over the fielder on the boundary, but he kept going for it. Brilliant Test match cricket. As I said, I think it was the injection of life that India needed, because Rishabh said to the team, come on, we've got to be a bit more aggressive against this England side. And that's the way I think you should play against England, is to be aggressive, try and attack the bowlers, because, you know, they're very good bowlers when batters sit in the crease and just play. You know, they get challenged more so, as lots of spinners do, when batters are looking to kind of dance down, attack, play more shots, trying to put them under more pressure. And I thought Rishabh Pant did that brilliantly.
I was also very impressed with Cheteshwar Pujara. I thought he'd come out with a hold all. I don't know if you in England, if in England you ever need a hold all. I don't think your train journeys are long enough. But a hold all is basically, you know what a hold all is? You put your little mattress, you put some cover sheets on it, and you travel, because you have 2 nights in a train sometimes. So you carry a hold all with you. I thought he'd come out with a hold all. He didn't look like he was going to get out. And he's just the kind of player India need. The fire and ice combination of Pant and Pujara, I thought he was looking really good. Have you seen a more unfortunate dismissal than that for Pujara? I mean, look at the partnerships, by the way. You look at Pant and Pujara, and they have absolutely nothing in common. I mean, one probably reads the classics, one reads comics. I don't know, but they've got nothing in common.
That is it. It's the ultimate chalk and cheese. But I think England have found a weakness with Pujara. You bowl a long hop and you pat that leg side field, and you just allow him to smack it at short leg on the shoulder and the deflect. It's like a good football corner where you knock it to the near post, someone flicks it on, and someone knocks it in the net at the far post. You know, Pujara, you know, of all the flamboyant players and the aggressive players and the beautiful players that India have, Pujara is the rock. And he's the key to the batting lineup, because as much as a Rishabh Pant will threaten a bowler's bowling figures, Pujara will threaten a bowler's mentality and physicality, because you know you're going to have to bowl really good deliveries for long periods of time to put him under pressure. I love watching him bat. I like watching Rishabh bat. It's a different way of playing. Love that. But there's something about Pujara that he gives me calmness. He gives me you just get a nice cup of tea and you sit back and you just know there's a lot of nice calmness around the way that Pujara plays is there.
You know, it's interesting that we talk about home conditions, Michael. These Indian players haven't played in India for a long time. I mean, if you look down when they last played a test match, that was the pink ball test match against Bangladesh. We're going late 2019. We're talking 14 months ago. And even that was a completely different test match. I mean, that was a pink ball test match. India were playing 3 fast bowlers, little too quick for Bangladesh. The first test as well, there wasn't any competition. India haven't had competition at home since that test match in Pune where Steve O'Keefe got 12 wickets on a turner. So in a sense, it's not really Indian conditions, number one. And number two, a lot of the Indian batsmen, once they start playing cricket for India consistently and are playing all 3 formats, most of them at least, they don't go back and play domestic cricket. So they've not gone around the country and played on those tracks very much. They play mainly test match cricket. So I just wonder if it's time to revisit this we know the conditions at home situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's because of the amount of cricket that India play and the amount of countries that want the Indian team to come and tour because, you know, they're such a wonderful team, bring so much to the game. You know, the IPL, I guess, is the tournament where, I know it's a different format, but that's the kind of 8 weeks that the Indian players get used to their home conditions, more so than back in the day where they would have played a few more first-class matches, a few more test matches. It's just a different era of cricket. You know, they're wonderful players. So, as I said, I don't think they'll bat as badly as they did today again in this series. Maybe in the second innings here, it'll be a bit tougher and, you know, the ball will be spitting. That's going to challenge them. But, you know, the mindset, particularly that top 5 today, it just didn't seem right. They won't do that again, I'm pretty sure. And whether it is the fact that they've not played a great deal of test match cricket in Indian conditions over the last few years, I guess that's a semi-excuse, but I just think they had an off day. They've had an off 3 days, really, the Indian team. But I'll keep saying it. I just think Rishabh Pant has injected life back into the Indian team. I think with that innings and the way that he played and the way that he went at the England bowlers and the England team, I think it was almost probably a trigger of a memory from a couple of weeks ago back in Australia at the Gabba. That's the mentality that you need. And that's the mentality that the Indian cricket team should play every single day. They have to get into the opposing team's faces.
Now, Michael briefly talked about Virat Kohli, and that is the subject of our special segment today. We're going to put him in the hot seat. It's the hot spot, but the person being asked the question on the hot spot is often sitting in the hot seat. What you make of that one of the Virat Kohli dismissal, and do you read anything into the fact that he's now gone 31 innings without a dismissal? I mean, I did a report once. I tried to analyze if you could get to 100 hundreds. And he had, 69, 70 hundreds? One, is there a worry about the drought? Two, what do you make of the manner of that dismissal?
I wouldn't be too concerned. I mean, and I'm sure he isn't concerned. You know, throughout this series, he'll get 100 or 200. I have no question about that. But yeah, the manner of dismissal today was weak for Virat Kohli to be defending the ball outside the off stump and with an angled bat facing towards wide extra cover. You know, there's nothing in that shot. As a young kid playing the game, you get taught you don't defend an off spinner outside your off stump because, you know, you want to be facing the full face of the bat back towards the ball, so you've got a better chance of if the ball spins or if it bounces. If you're playing with an angled bat, it only has to bounce, and you get it slightly wrong and it goes to short legs. So technically, it wasn't a great dismissal for Virat Kohli. I thought he was just trying to play today, and I know that sounds very simple. I think Virat's the better player when he comes out trying to be aggressive. You know, so his feet are moving to score runs, and he's kind of dancing down to the spinner to look to kind of put them under pressure. You know, you've got to remember Virat Kohli is facing Dominic Bess. Dominic Bess is a work in progress for the England team. He's young, he's inexperienced, he's got a great character, great energy about him. But this is Virat Kohli against Dominic Bess. And I would have expected Virat Kohli to dance down early and say to Dominic Bess, fetch that out the stands. I'm Virat Kohli. I know how to play in these conditions against a young off spinner, and I'm going to put you under pressure. I was surprised that he just let him bowl. It was almost as if he was hoping for bad balls and he thought he may get 1 or 2. He didn't go trying to be proactive to put Dominic Bess under pressure. As I said, I don't think he'll do that again. Dominic Bess probably got Virat Kohli on a bad day.
The scoreboard pressure, you think, caused him to play like that? I mean, Bess's figures are looking very good at this age, 4 for 55. He bowled well. I thought he could do with a little more consistency. But do you think Virat's slightly defensive approach had a bit to do with the fact that the scoreboard had a massive score on it?
Yeah, and Harsha, you've seen enough Test cricket that it generally always has the effect of the scoreboard pressure on the opposing team batting, and understandably, because you go out thinking, right, we've got to bat such a long period of time that you're getting yourself into a negative mindset by just trying to bat for time rather than thinking, well, I've got to score runs. The best way to put the opposing team back under pressure is by scoring runs. And that pretty much what happened when Rishabh Pant went out there, and all of a sudden the boundaries started to flow, and you saw Pujara dancing down, and he was looking for the boundaries. That scoreboard ticks over. You could see Joe Root setting more defensive fields. You could see the shoulders of the England team didn't droop, but you can see that they're asking themselves the question, wait a minute, this is the real India team. Those first few wickets, we can't believe our luck. They didn't quite come out and put us under pressure. They'll not do that again, I'm sure, India. They're a better team when they're looking to score, looking to put the bowlers under pressure, particularly finger spinners from an opposing team in Indian conditions. They shouldn't be allowing them to bowl.
Okay, I used the word astute early on with Michael Vaughan. He got it right yesterday when he said England would bat on, but we're going to ask him what it is like to look forward now, fast forward coming up. Okay, first things first. If England do find themselves in a position where they can enforce the follow-on, that'll happen if the new ball comes along in 6 or 7 overs, they get wickets early. If they get India out in the next 10, 11 overs, then the lead would probably be about 300, but they've had a night's rest. Would you come back and bowl again? Or would you say, no, we'll still come out, we'll bat again and leave India another 140, 130 overs of batting?
Yeah, I'd bat again. Just for, even if it's just for 35, 40 overs, and go out and say your team, you've got to be aggressive and score and make sure you're scoring at over fours. But then the pitch will wear, you know that you're going to be bowling on the last day. You're basically saying to yourself, you've got 4 sessions to get 10 wickets on a wearing wicket. Where you'd want enough runs in the tank to potentially put all your fielders around the bat if you got the opportunity to do so on day 5. There's not many teams these days enforced the follow-on, so England will bat again. They've done it before in the past when they've had massive leads. They bat for just 30 overs, try and smack it to all parts. Try and create more rough. What the situation of the game is, you run a bit down the side of the wickets and then try and grow the rough. All teams do it. England will try and do the same. I think that's what Joe Root will be hoping for. He'll be nervous though, because this partnership was good between Sundar and Ashwin. If that goes another session, and if India can bat one more session in the first innings, then you are starting to eke out so much time in the game that potentially England won't get those 4 sessions. They might just get a day and 10, 12 overs towards the end of tomorrow night's play. So the tomorrow morning session, that second new ball is going to be crucial. England have to strike early. If India can bat a session, I think it'll go a long way for them to get a draw out of this Test match.
Let's expand on that thought a little bit, because it's a delicious thought. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but if it does actually happen, I think first target for India would be play out till the new ball comes, because you don't want to expose Shahbaz Nadeem and Ishant Sharma to the new ball. If these two do play out another 20, just say 25 overs, about 60 runs, you're looking at a deficit of about 250, 260. England are not going to declare 350, 360 ahead, are they? They're going to need 400 runs to declare, especially after what happened in the West Indies. You're suddenly thinking, oops, if our 2 spinners inexperienced, 400 to make 400, you've got to bat another 40 overs. They're looking at only about 110 left, as you said. Would that be enough? If you're captain, are you going up to your bowlers and saying, I'm giving you 110, gentlemen? Is that good enough? What do you think?
I'm not too sure that's going to be enough. I'd want at least 125 overs if possible. 110 on a if the pitch explodes, which I guess it may do, it could be enough. I'd love a 400 chase in about 110 overs, because I think India will have a go at that. I think they'll try and set a foundation, then unleash a Rishabh Pant and try and go for it. It'd be a great spectacle. What Joe Root will want is to nullify India's chances of winning the game at all. He'll want tomorrow to go the whole way of the England team, that he knows that he arrives on day 5 with only one result in his mindset, which is to go 1-0 up in the series. He doesn't want to arrive on day 5 with all 3 results possibly. He don't want to contemplate an Indian chase on day 5 with the way that his team have played so far in the 3 days. But anything's possible in Test match cricket. We've seen that over the last few months. We've seen it over the last few days in Bangladesh that more and more chases are becoming more possible because of the mindset and the ability of the players. But England are well on top. And I said yesterday, and I'm saying that England have to win this game. They have to go 1-0 up because India won't play as badly, again, going from the second test matches onwards. They're going to get better. They're going to improve. So England have to capitalise on this opportunity.
What's the Vaughan vision saying? Let's kind of phrase for it. The Vaughan vision. Let's call it the Vaughan vision. What's it telling you?
I think England are going to win. I think they've done enough hard work. I would expect India will have to bat 4 sessions to try and draw the test match. And on this kind of wicket, with the variations that England have, they should be able to create enough opportunities. But as I said, it's what's favourite at the minute. But tomorrow morning's session, I think, is massive. If India come back tomorrow morning's session and still be there at lunch, I honestly think it goes a long way for India to get out of this test match with a draw. If England get the 4 quick wickets and come back till tea, pull out with 450 runs in front, I think 4 sessions should be enough to get the 10 wickets to win the test.
Okay, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. And of course, we will be with Michael Vaughan tomorrow evening again with the Cricbuzz chatter. So at the moment, 70-30 ahead, maybe England in the driver's seat. But if India bat till lunch tomorrow, they just ease the nerves a little bit, make England think a little bit more, make the test match more exciting. We'll join you at the end of day 4 with Michael Vaughan again on Cricbuzz Channel.